My passion for this semester is the lack of mental health care services in long term care facilities. This group of individuals are vast and often forgotten. I believe they are often forgotten because people believe that they are being properly cared for when they are in facilities designed to meet their needs. Having worked with this population in a supported community living facility, which is they go and live in homes and have caregivers with them 24 hours a day, take them to appointments, clean their houses, cook their meals. I can attest to the amount of times that, there's not proper mental health care for this group. You take them to doctor's appointments, but they don't receive therapy and mental health care. And there's no representation for this population so that they can say what they need and what they are not getting. Upon looking at the different types of living situations, it was found that living in these places causes the individuals to have a high depression rate, and this comes from lack of autonomy, lack of socialization, and being taken out of their homes. They feel lonely and isolated even though they are surrounded by individuals their own age. It is reported that individuals in assisted living have lower depression rates than nursing homes because they are still in a home environment. They just have caregivers there to help them and still have some form of autonomy. And the individuals living in nursing homes feel powerless because they really have no say over their lives. The high depression rate and powerlessness that individuals feel in nursing homes and assisted living facilities leads to a statistically significant finding in suicidal behaviors and ideations. This is prevalent both in the facilities and when the individual knows that they have no other choice but to move from their homes into a residential facility. Although there are 24-hour caretakers in these facilities, individuals in this group still find that they have no power over their lives and feel that they do have power over their death and decide to take their lives. And I believe that if there were people in these facilities whose sole purpose was to ensure proper mental health care for these individuals, these rates would go down. And social workers in these facilities need to be aware of the risk factors in their specific facilities that are causing suicidal ideation and behavior, and to speak to the residents about how they will feel more happy and at home in their placement. One way that has been found to increase the residents' happiness and sense of belonging in nursing homes and assisted living facilities is having group sessions so the individuals can talk about what is going on with their health, with everyday life, with different things and different stressors that they have to deal with. And this is something that is attainable in most homes, in most out-of-home living arrangements. In most nursing homes I know of, they have a social worker position. And I was unable to speak. The nursing home in the town over, their social worker is actually an RN, so she is not even, she can't even do the job that she is in because she is not properly trained. And this could be easily remedied to make sure that there is either a BASW, an MSW, an LCSW, CSW, some sort of social worker in the social work position. The two parts of social work profession that tie mostly in with my passion are aging and wellness and long-term supports. The NASW advocates for each individual's right to maintain optimal biopsychosocial functioning in the least restrictive environment. And there are times when it is unattainable for individuals to stay at home. So the long-term care facilities are the least restrictive, even though they are very restrictive. And they have access to professional social work services in all settings. And as a social worker, it is our job to ensure that these individuals are receiving mental health care because it is part of health care. And that's aging and wellness goes with that too, and mental health. But service and social justice are the NASW stances that most align with my passion. And the service, these individuals are not receiving proper mental health care, and that needs to be addressed. We as social workers need to understand that this is a problem with this population, and that we need to do something about it. And for against my passion and the policy would be that there are already social workers employed by nursing homes who should be addressing the mental health issues. And when you get, when it's one social worker to, most nursing homes have 40 to 80 residents, it's unattainable for one social worker to be able to do the mental health and everything else that goes along with being a social worker in these facilities. Because it's the social worker for nursing homes holds many hats, just like we all do. We all hold many hats as social workers. And there needs to be one specifically for mental health care. And as far as intersectionality, because it is such a vast population, you have LGBTQ individuals, you have people who have different racial backgrounds and different diagnoses, different mental health issues, where it encompasses all who are elderly and in these facilities. Intersectionality is everywhere. The policy that most aligns with my passion is the rebalancing policy from the ACA. The rebalancing has been put into place due to the Olmstead decision on the Americans with Disabilities Act, requiring individuals with disabilities to get the mental health treatment that is needed for them to be able to conduct activities for daily living. This decision was made for both individuals and institutionalization and those at risk for being institutionalized. Rebalancing, if completed as written, would greatly increase the quality of life for the elderly and disabled population in our country. Not only would they get the behavioral health treatment desperately needed by this population, but there could also be less individuals placed in long-term care facilities. As stated above, oftentimes the placement into these facilities is the cause of depression and anxiety within this population because they are going to lose their autonomy. This connects with my passion because it is solely for mental health services for the elderly and disabled in long-term care facilities and to keep them from being in long-term care. The intended consequences are that the services be provided with the extra funding laid out in the rebalancing. But the unintentional consequences are that the funds are being used in other areas that are lacking rather than for mental health services. And as I have not found anyone who is against the policy because it is part of the ACA and it is already law, there may be some, but I was unable to find any who oppose this policy. The person that I chose is Representative Josh Branscombe because he is my state representative for my district, and he always votes for elderly rights, mental health care for all, mental health for elderly, and nursing home rights. I think he would be in favor of making my passion a reality, which is to have one social worker in every nursing home solely for mental health. And I know at first it's not going to happen like that, but eventually that is what my goal is, and I'm going to dedicate myself to making sure that happens. He is not connected with the policy stated previously, as it is federal policy and it was signed into law almost 10 years ago, but he supports the law itself and all that the law stands for. And I would recommend informing Representative Branscombe as what is happening in nursing homes in the Lake Cumberland region of Kentucky and inform him of what I believe will make positive change. And I could meet with Representative Branscombe in person or contact him by email. The agency I chose was the Center for Mental Health and Aging. Their goal is to destigmatize mental health and ensure older adults get the mental health care they need. They offer practical guides, articles, podcast tools, and online resources for helping older adults and caregivers navigate mental health, dementia, and caregiving needs. They're improving access to mental health care by building the only nationwide provider directory of licensed mental health providers who specialize with older adults. They provide evidence-based, culturally responsible, and inclusive continuing education training to mental health, senior care, and healthcare professionals. And this helps to ensure that professionals have specialized training to meet the mental health needs of older adults. I was unable to get in touch with anyone and interview. I tried on several occasions, but ultimately no one ever got back with me. But I feel like they align with how I feel about my passion, so I don't feel that speaking with them would change how I feel about it. I did speak to an LCSW whose job was to go into these facilities, and he said that it was greatly needed. And I also spoke to a nursing home worker who said that that would greatly increase the quality of life for these individuals. And in conclusion, I learned that there is policy in place to address the passion and what I feel is needed but is not being addressed correctly. The next steps relating to this policy is to ensure the funds from the rebalancing are providing the services they were intended for and not picking up the slack in other areas. And the next step for social workers is to ensure all needs of the individuals are being met, not just their physical needs. And the next steps for me are getting my LCSW so that I can go into these places and provide therapy services for these individuals. This has been Megan Montgomery sharing my passion for the need of mental health care and long-term care facilities. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.